Hello everybody and welcome back. We're going to be reviewing another starter set, that's Runequest. I've been really interested in Runequest, hearing a lot of good things about it, and it's also published by Chaosium, the people who make Call of Cthulhu. So that's all the reason I really need to start cracking into it. First I want to start going over what's in the box, and then we can go over the specifics of what Runequest actually is. And when you start digging into it, it's fascinating. First things first, we have our obligatory set of dice. I like the long bag. It shows all 7 right in a row. This is actually a percentile dice system, so I'm curious how often we're going to use all of these dice. One index paper right here that lets you know what we have in the box, and of course they didn't miss the chance to sell you any of their products. And these things are really cool. They've got a couple of cheat sheets for different kinds of runes that you're probably going to have a few questions for in Runequest. And then you've got references on how other things in combat and ability checks would work. So that way you don't have to do the math yourself, it's right here. We're going to take a look at the runes in a little bit, but I want to check out this right here. This here is technically your initiative, your strike rank modifier or tracker over here. Initiative is a little bit tricky and we'll get into that later, but it's rolled every single round for a little bit more strategy within combat. So if somebody's doing really bad in combat, they're going lower in initiative order, which only makes sense. I think it's a really cool mechanic, and we'll look at that a little bit later. After that, they have 2 maps included with this set here. One of the region. Maybe a bit hard to see all of that on there, but it's a very detailed regional map. And if you can see it, we've got a very detailed town map. This was done very, very well. Almost an artist sketch of a map instead of a literal map. And let's not forget about the battle maps. We've got a blank one on this side and one with labels and other things for the DM. Or if you just wanted to flip it over to give your players a quick heads up of what's to come. Believe it or not, there is one more map included in this set, but we've got to get through these things first. There are 4 books included, but we're going to get to those in just a minute because that's the meat of what's in here. 4 books in a starter set? That's nuts. That should be enough to buy this outright. But if that's not enough to convince you, we have 14 characters in these books here, and there's even a pre-made character in one of the other books that we're going to be talking about soon. But 14 characters to select from is ridiculous. I cannot imagine having to include that many characters in a single starter set. But when you think about it, there are over 20 runes in this set. So there's a lot of variation that can be had for the different characters that you're able to play. So it's actually really cool that they included this many characters. So that way everyone can play their type of fantasy that they were thinking. But the weirdest part about this starter set is it does not include character creation options, but it includes 2 blank character sheets. Which is nice. Maybe I can keep these and do these for later. But sometimes the best part of playing the game is creating the character, and that's how you get invested in it. So it would be great if they had a small section for character creation at the end. And if you were buying the starter set and you thought to yourself, why is this thing so heavy? It's these. This is exactly why it's so heavy. You have 4 whole books in here. One for the rules, one for literally an entire book full of lore, and the next one is going to be an adventure and a solo adventure. So solo adventure is here to teach you how to play the game, and the adventure over here is to teach you how to be the DM. I probably won't be able to do it very well or for very long. That's what she said! But this is what the map would look like if you put all 4 of them together. Hopefully that's showing up on the video for you guys, but that's the 3rd map that I was talking about. I am completely impressed from what I've seen in this box. It is a little bit pricier than some of the other starter sets we've checked out on this channel, but let's just cover the question of what is Runequest?
Who are you?
And I'll tell you, it's a game that's been around since 1978. Almost as long as Dungeons and Dragons, and it's got as much of a history to it as well. In this game, everybody has a little bit of magic, and that comes in the form of runes. These runes are what you've picked during character creation. The runes that you pick should help to reflect how your character embodies that specific aspect that you've chosen, because each of these runes are connected to a specific aspect and a god in turn. Would you choose the Rune of Harmony or the Rune of Death? Typically, the runes that you were granted to you by a god, or perhaps they've manifested upon you by embodying the aspect of that specific rune. Have you been lost in the wild for several years and now you come out with the Rune of the Beast? Each and every one of these runes have different magical abilities that you can gain from them. And as you progress, you'll be able to gain more spells associated with that type of aspect. I'd say when you level up, but you don't actually level up in this game. And that's one of the coolest parts about it. Each and every one of your skills has the chance to level up, but that happens at the end of every single game session. Let's just say you used your sword and speech skill that game session. You get to roll to see if your sword and speech skill improve based on your gameplay. And it's so much more varied of a way to increase levels than just saying, level 6, level 7, level 8. You actually get to embody the whole skill of archery from going to bad at shooting all the way up to a master. I did say this before, but RuneQuest is a percentile dice system. And what that means is when you're rolling for a percentile, you're going to have a 75 maybe in a skill. And if you have 75 or under, you succeed in that roll. If you have 75 or over, you fail in that roll. And the same thing goes for any of your percentages for any skills that you have. And you're able to pick up plenty of skills along the way. Just talk to your DM. I know a couple of you might have been scared when I referenced RuneQuest combat being a little bit crunchier, maybe, because we roll initiative every round, or at least our version of rolling initiative. But it's not exactly harder in a sense because the numbers are a lot lower. Let's just say somebody has 14 health. That 14 health is evenly distributed amongst all of your limbs. And when one of your limbs ends up getting hurt or crippled in a way, you have to seek healing or else you're going to have disadvantages in combat or outside of combat for ability checks, if that remains unchecked. I don't really want to go deep into character creation, but everybody has magic and has magic points, and that's determined by your power characteristic. And if you're thinking to yourself, power characteristic, well, let's go over the characteristics for this game. They're a little bit different, but if you've played D&D, you'll catch on real quick. We have strength, constitution, size, intelligence, and power, not to mention dexterity and charisma. And the derivative stats would be hit points, which comes out of your constitution and size, and your magic points are equal to your power. And then damage bonuses are equated by using strength and size. You'll also end up picking an occupation, and they heavily encourage you to flavor this however you'd like. But picking an occupation gives you several skills to start off with, and you'll be able to build those skills up as high as you'd like or grab as many skills as you'd like on the way. And we kind of been dancing around the subject of magic even though this game is all about it, so let's just dive right into it. There are 4 types of runes. Well, technically there's 20 in the game, but there are 4 categories. And I can really only imagine how many more runes are included in different expansions. This is just the starter set, mind you. But the 4 categories of runes are elemental, power, form, and condition runes. Each of these runes represent a set of related concepts and a god, such as that god's realm of influence and associated magics. The elemental runes that you're going to find in this game are air, earth, water, fire, darkness, and the moon. And the moon is really controversial in game, so if you pick that one, be prepared to know, because your DM will probably tell you once or twice. When it comes to condition runes, you're going to find yourself picking between luck, fate, law, infinity, mastery, and magic. The power runes are easily separated into harmony, illusion, truth, fertility, death, stasis, and movement. And then we do have a few form runes, being beast, man, plant, dragon, newt, spirit, and chaos. Picking any of these runes to represent your character And you can be sure there's a rich lore involved with each of these runes, so use that to really shape your character fantasy. Whether you're a priest who's been specifically marked by your god, or a wild man who's gained the mark of the beast, the rune of the beast, I might say. You may think you're limited to just a few runes, but that's not the case. Some runes are inverses of others, so you have to be curious of that one, but gain as much power as you can, my friend. As much as I really would like to dive into the lore, it'd be impossible in this video, but maybe in a 20 or 30 minute video later down the line. But you can believe it's a Bronze Age type of game, one where myths and legends walk the earth. You're going to be walking the earth with all of the types of legends that are real. You'll see Greek gods, Jormungandr, you'll see that the world is flat, and so many other mysteries that you can uncover. I can't really recommend this set enough. It seems like an awesome world to dive right into, and I cannot wait to at least introduce the concept of runes to my table. I know they're going to have a blast with that, and you guys might too. So give this one a try, link down in the description, and if you guys like this video, make sure to like, comment, or subscribe, and I'll see you later. For those of you who don't know, we open a box after every product review, and hopefully we can complete this set, but we haven't been doing so hot lately. Let's see what we've got out of box number 5. The first thing out of the box, we've got Gleam. I've never really heard of this one, but I'm sure Wild Beyond the Witchlight has a feature character called Gleam, and I'm certain she'll straighten up eventually. Next up, this is actually the third little dragon that I've received in this set here, and I can say I don't hate it. Each one of these dragons do have a name, which is cool, but I would prefer if it actually had the creature name. Next up, I was surprised this wasn't the big one in the box, but we have a swamp hag. Oh my gosh, y'all, that's amazing. And hopefully we'll get a good view of it with the white box over here. And I can't believe how creepy this thing would be in real life, but we have the floating lily pad. Oh my gosh. This thing will drag you under and then drown you with the leaf. I like this one a lot. So, if you guys like that video, make sure to like, comment, or subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye!